Once upon a time in the LBC, on the east side off of 21 Street, there lived a young man, Cinderella's his name. To make it interesting, it's me, gang. I lived in the house with my crew stepdad and two stepbrothers who treated me bad. I cooked, I cleaned, I scrubbed the floor, and I was like an errand boy running to the store.
Brief history. First of all, Malaysia has always been a country filled with different races. After Malaysian independence, significant chunks of the Malaysian economy were controlled by the Malaysian colony in the country. Second, economically powerful to these monopolies were small-scale retail enterprises run by the Malaysian Chinese and the small-scale money-leading business run by a few Malaysian Indians. In the past 30 years, Malaysia has successfully curtailed high poverty rates and reduced income inequalities. Its goal is to attain high income status by 2020, while ensuring that the growth is sustainable. State of the country when poverty was in high poverty. Malaysia used to export lots of rubber and tin in previous years, as it was something really demanded at the time. At the point of time in 1970, the recorded numbers of households living in poverty was of 49.3%. The top 5% richest households were obtaining 30% of the total income. It is recorded that of all households living in poverty, about 74% were Malay, 17% were Chinese, and 8% were Indian. In terms of wealth distribution, it is recorded that the Malays had 2.4% of the equality capital, Indians held 1.1% of the Chinese accounted for 27.2%. Those categorized as others had 6.0% and foreigners held 63.3%. What were the processes to lift the population out of poverty? The new economic policy is Malaysia's socio-economic affirmative action plan. It was implemented in 1971 in the aftermath of the 1963 ration riots, and the period set for the implementation of NEP was 1971 to 1990. The overriding objective of the NEP was stated as national unity. The goal of the NEP was two-pronged: one, eradicate poverty, and two, reconstruct society to eliminate the identification of race with economic function through the rapid expansion of the economy over time. Negative aspects. One of the biggest failures of the NEP is that it failed to help many non-Bumipterans who deserve to benefit more from the affirmative action. The Indian poor, especially from the rural estate communities, are one of the main groups that are still in poverty until today. The data of results from the NEP show that the share of wealth of non-Bumipteras increased to 76.8% in 1990. However, of these 46.8, 44.9 of the share belonged to the Chinese, only 1% of the Indians, and 0.7 to others. At the same time, there has been a lot of abuse of the NEP. There are some underserving individuals who have enough capacity to fend for themselves, but have been given a free ride of the NEP. I see this as the reason why many Malaysians are not happy with the NEP.
Malaysia is the 20th largest export economy in the world and the 31st most complex economy according to the Economic Complexity Index. State of the country now. Malaysia is the 20th largest export economy in the world and the 31st most complex economy according to the Economic Complexity Index. The top exports of Malaysia are integrated circuits that its income is $32 billion, refined petroleum, petroleum gas, palm oil, and crude petroleum. Using the 1992 revision of the HS Harmonized System Classification, the top export destinations of Malaysia are Singapore, China, Japan, United States, Indonesia, and the top import origins are in China, Thailand, and United States. Positive aspects. There have been many. According to the official data, the NEP managed to reduce poverty. Percentage of households living below poverty line across all ethnic groups has been reduced from 49% to 3.8%. Also, the NEP managed to restructure the economy. By 2020, Malaysia has a big challenge, which the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research wants its country to become a high-income economy. The new economic model is one-third of the component, while the other two are sustainability and inclusiveness. At the center of all, it's the quality of life. There will be a great impact on commodity export prices and foreign exchange market and turbulence. Also, it has played a big part in national unity, and in fact, there is now more intermingling even with race groups. They have managed to create a large segment of middle-class bumpers, and at the same time, the number of bumpers employed in the industrial sector like mining, manufacturing, constructions, and utilities also had arose significantly.